Imagine living in a home that sits secluded in a forest. On a 100-kilometer beach, or on top of a mountain. In this series, we travel the globe to explore some of the world's most secret homes, hidden away in truly inspiring locations. From jungle hideaways and secluded mountain cabins.
This is what it's all about. I love it.
To coastal sanctuaries and desert retreats.
It does something to your soul.
We explore how these spectacular homes were built.
It was amazing because it was lost for 70 years.
And meet the people who live in them.
People come in and say, oh, wow.
No one's expecting it.
As we discover the world's most secret homes. Scandinavia. An extreme landscape of ice and snow, of forests, fjords, and volcanoes. The glaciers and mountains here may look like a great place to live, but building a house in an icy wilderness like this and getting to it poses a huge challenge. Somewhere in this mountain range is a house that blends perfectly into its surroundings. Can you spot it? There are no roads here. There are no obvious pathways. Getting to this remote spot is not for the faint-hearted. In the summer, it is a 5-hour hike. In winter, access is via helicopter. But the extreme journey is worth it for the family who built this incredible, secret mountainside house. It's called the hunting cabin. The people who own this remarkable retreat are Osvald and Torhild. Osvald and Torhild are from a family of sheep farmers. Their family has owned the land that surrounds the cabin for many years.
I remember as a young boy and also as a young man roaming these mountains with my family. And more or less every time I came to this precise spot where we built the cabin with my father, he would lean on his walking stick and say, Oswald, we should really have a cabin here. This is really where we could get some rest. And then a little bit later, after the pause, he would say, yeah, and my father always said that too.
The hunting cabin is a tiny single-story construction on the mountainside. It is just 35 square meters. There's a small kitchen area, central living space, and a mezzanine level accessible by ladder. There's a separate toilet and wash house outside the cabin. Although the idea of the cabin had been in the minds of the family for many years, when it came to actually building the structure in these unspoilt mountains, there were responsibilities that needed to be met.
When we talked about the features of this, it should be modest, not disturb the area in any way, look as if it was a natural part of this physical environment. We wanted to tap into ancient building traditions in the area, yet use modern materials to make it strong, so it could hopefully stand tall for a very long period of time. I'm very happy with it now.
Now that it is complete, the hunting cabin has become central to the life of this family.
I feel that this cabin is such a hidden place, and it's such a secret place where you hike into. So when you come there, you feel that you are so far away from anything else that you couldn't believe it.
So this is it. This is like the perfectly use of 35 square meters. You have a small kitchen. We can make 3 or 4 course dishes here, which are eminent and beautiful. So that we enjoy a lot. This is the dining table. This is this majestic stone, which has brought in here. We sit around. This is like a combination of an Indian inspired when you were sitting in the tents in the old days around the fire. You have a stove here that we lit with logs.
And really, that's about it. Once you have a place to eat, sleep and keep warm, what more do you need? However, tiny though this cabin is, it does conceal an extraordinary secret.
What you might not realize here is that this small space, we're actually able to host 21 people. So this has been very, very carefully planned. And we have 13 people who can sleep down here around this stove. And then there are 8 people up on this sleeping area above here.
Cozy though this is, 21 people will need some privacy at some point.
So you might have noticed that, of course, there is no bathroom here or a toilet, and there is no running water here. There is no electricity, but we have like a fantastic outhouse just across from here, which is hard. It's very camouflaged, etc. But it really is well put together. And then, of course, in terms of electricity, we really don't need it. So we are totally off-grid.
Built to accommodate the 21 members of Osvald and Torhild's extended family, the cabin is positioned to look out onto this spectacular panorama to make the most of the views. Osvald and Torhild built this cabin as an escape from their busy lives, for themselves and their family. They chose family friend architect Kjetil Thorsen to design this extreme lodge.
So the brief we were given was to create a 35 square meter cabin, which could house 21 people for a night or 2. You should be able to cook for 21 people. You should be able to serve 21 people. 21 people should be sitting around the fireplace, the same fireplace, and actually get warm. So yes, even though it was a very small footprint and a very small cabin, the complexity of the task was quite high. The idea of the building from the very beginning was that it would become part of the landscape.
The shape of the cabin is inspired by the idea of a section of peeled back turf. To build it, the team used hand-hewn local pine, rocks from the mountainside, and flagstones from the family farm. High winds and snow pummel this mountainside for up to 6 months of the year. So the cabin has been engineered to withstand everything that the Scandinavian weather can throw at it. 2 steel arches support the main structure. Timber logs fill the gaps between the arches. A grass roof helps keep the logs in place. A stone wall fills the steepest edge of the house, which is too vertical for grass. Small panes of glass make up the front window. And the glass is recessed into the facade to protect it from the worst of the weather. Now that the cabin is complete, Osvald and Torhild use it a lot, particularly when the skiing is good.
It's lovely. Well, there's a lot of beautiful places around the world, but this is what it's all about. Oh, I love it.
This cabin is the ultimate extreme retreat. It's been a dream for this family for many years, and now they're making the most of it.
It is, in a way, some kind of memorial for those who used to walk these mountains before us. Is it secret? Well, it is a secret. It was a secret dream for us for a long time.
Pablo Picasso, he once said that the meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. And I feel that was what and I felt that it is a pleasure to give this gift away to the next generation.
Eight 8,500 kilometers southwest is the American state of California. Just 160 kilometers north of Los Angeles sits the desert town of Tehachapi. Today, with most of the local industry now dedicated to wind farming, living around here may be quieter, but building a home in this extreme environment is a huge challenge. Hidden in this remote landscape, 8 kilometers down a dirt track, with only a few coyotes for company, lies an extraordinary secret home. Invisible to all except the owners, concealed deep in the wilderness, this contemporary retreat, called the Sawmill, as a nod to past local industry, sits in around 140,000 square meters of land, giving the owners total seclusion from the modern world. With their main home in LA, owners, engineer Bruce Schaefer and retired art teacher and ceramicist wife Carol wanted an escape from busy city life. But realizing their dream home in this arid wilderness was no simple task.
It's an unexpected surprise back here. It looks like it belongs, but it's a surprising and delightful thing to come across. It's different from every angle. There's all these rectangles that fit together in interesting ways, and it's just always interesting.
This unusually shaped house has been designed to make the most of its extreme surroundings.
Welcome to Sawmill. This is our getaway.
This home of 248 square meters is built with all its main rooms on one level in the middle of a tough desert landscape. Its layout is inspired by the idea of tents encircling a central campfire. The house is comprised of 3 wings. Each wing has a bedroom and an ensuite bathroom. One doubles up as an office, the other as an artist's studio. A solid concrete central hearth in the living room connects the rooms together. There's also an expansive kitchen and dining room and basement storage.
Usually there's a little bit of wow when people first show up.
Yeah, there's a bit of magnificence that people look up and they look around. It reminds me how I feel when I walk into like a cathedral or something.
The house is filled with drama and light, but first and foremost, Bruce and Carol wanted a home where friends and family could come together and enjoy the beauty of the desert setting.
This is a room where the family gathers in the evening usually, and it's the common area. It's the space where we enjoy each other's company and relax and enjoy the warmth of the fireplace.
The hearth sits at the heart of this modern take on the classic Californian country cabin. The fireplace is built from solid concrete.
So another nice thing about the fireplace is these steel doors that gives you full access to the fireplace.
I think it's like having a sculpture in the middle of the room. I think it's a really beautiful object in itself.
There you go.
The concrete chimney has an internal flue. So when the fire is lit, heat rises up the flue, the concrete warms up, and emits heat back into the entire open-plan space. For Bruce and Carol, creating this house was not only about having a home that could take in the breathtaking surroundings, but also creating a focal point for family and friends.
The living room is a small gathering area, but looking that way is this grand view that I never get tired of.
And what a view it is. As you've probably guessed by now, there is nothing conventional about this cabin in the woods. This is a house to be shared, so space for guests is important. 3 bedrooms lead off the central living area, each in its own self-contained wing.
This is one of the 3 boxes that are around the main room. Each of these boxes has its own bathroom, and this is the guest room that we probably use the most. It's also Bruce's office.
The nice thing about the separate wings is that you can close these big barn doors and feel like you're in your own space, and you can retreat from the larger group.
This is a house full of surprises. It's about boxes that connect with each other and rooms that reveal other rooms. When it came to creating a master bedroom suite, for Bruce and Carol, the important thing was to frame that exceptional view.
One thing that I especially like about this space is when you're camping and you first open your tent window and you get to see where you are outside in a lovely environment, pulling up the blinds in the morning very much has that feeling in this space.
Sawmill is where Bruce and Carol come to relax. But because they love to share this space, this eclectic house also needs to be multi-purpose. And this room contains a secret, something completely surprising and extra special.
This is my studio. It's where I do my ceramics work. When we designed this space, I wanted it to be a creative workspace, but we also knew that it had to be a guest room.
And engineer Bruce had a fantastic idea.
So as I turn this wheel, the bed is lowering. It's able to do that because we have a cable system from here all the way over to the bed, and we have a counterweight that allows it to be done with very little effort.
This so fits my husband's personality. Just designing this whole gadget, and it was challenging, but he totally made it work, and it's awesome.
Looking at this spectacular home, you'd be forgiven for thinking Bruce and Carol had been designing it in their heads for years. But the reality behind the genesis of their home is rather surprising.
The land came first without knowing what we were going to build. I think I typed something into Google like cool cabins. That was the very beginning of looking for Tom.
Bruce and Carol worked with the internationally renowned architect Tom Kundig to design their new home.
They were wondering if I would even be remotely interested in working on this really remote site in California, and of course, I couldn't be more excited about that.
And once Tom was on board, the final design quickly followed.
We came to him with our story of what we wanted the house to be used for. And he took that idea and used it. And I think over a weekend, sent this very loosely drawn sketch that turned out to be the final design.
I think he might have done it on the airplane home from his visit. Just an amazing sketch, an amazing idea.
It wasn't on a napkin, but it might as well have been. I mean, it was sort of had that sort of napkin drawing kind of look.
It was very clear because of this remote site that this was a house that had to be efficiently laid out. Everybody has their own separate bedroom, their own area. As their kids grow up and they have kids, they have their own, almost like a little hut attached to this central core of the building. That's where the family comes together. In a kind of wonderful way, you could say this is the campfire. This is where the family gathers around that campfire.
Once the design was complete, the build got underway and took 5 years to finish. And what Tom created was an utterly breathtaking modern take on the country cabin. Building the house on such a remote plot created many challenges, but challenges are made to be met. And Bruce and Carol now have a home that has very little impact on the local environment.
Being 5 miles from the paved road puts us out of reach of utilities, water, electricity, natural gas. So we're off-grid. So we have a water well, and the house is powered with solar power.
I have to say, for what it's worth, that Bruce is really the only person that understands all of the workings of this house. I can come up here by myself and probably be comfortable, but if anything goes wrong, he's really the only one who knows how to work everything. It's complicated.
Tom has created a tailor-made and relaxing home for Bruce and Carol. But this isolated home conceals one final secret.
One conversation I remember having with Tom is that we found any excuse to go outside. And so he just took that and made a living space where we basically had that all the time.
How do you make a building morph itself so it can kind of open, you know, like a flower, or close like a flower, in a sense, almost undress itself or dress itself?
Tom devised a glass wall that can be completely removed, blurring the lines between the house and nature.
Here we go.
The hand wheel and accompanying gearbox are from an old water pump found on site by Bruce. This wheel operates a small gearbox that turns a long steel shaft. The shaft is attached to another gearbox, which engages with a concealed chain. Just like a chain on a bicycle, as the chain turns, the glass wall, weighing 1,360 kilos, opens smoothly.
These devices are literally just extensions of us. When you do something manually, you actually become part of that machine.
Maybe the door is a guy thing, but to move the entire wall of a house by your hands, it's very satisfying.
Bruce and Carol live in a house that is spectacular, yet homely too. It's exactly what they wanted. But with an engineer in the house, will it ever truly be finished?
It never really felt like there was a spot in time where this thing was finished, and I don't think it is finished, and I don't think it ever will be, really. So it was just so gradual that you don't really notice that it's done. I guess it is. Is it done? He's laughing because he knows it's not.
The projects will never be done.
No.
Bruce and Carol live in a house that is spectacular, yet homely too. It is a beautiful little slice of modernity in the Southern Californian desert that will be loved and enjoyed for many years to come. (9,900 kilometers southeast is the city of Sao Paulo in Brazil, the largest city south of the equator. Just 2 hours' drive from the city are the Sierra do Mar Mountains. The mountains here form a breathtaking coastline, cloaked with lush vegetation and surrounded by pristine sands. This protected sliver of Atlantic rainforest has changed very little since European explorers first arrived on these shores 500 years ago. These dense forests may look like the idyllic place to build a secret hideaway, but it's a huge challenge. Camouflaged amongst the tree canopy, shrouded by the rainforest mists, sits a home in perfect harmony with its surroundings. This modern home was designed to blend organically into the tropical ferns, palms, and jacaranda trees that conceal it. This is the Jungle House. The house covers 805 square meters and has been constructed over 3 floors. On the top floor is the living area, dining space, kitchen, and terrace with a pool. On the first floor is the family room and 6 bedrooms, each with its own private terrace. On the ground floor is the housekeeper's apartment, children's playroom, and utility room. This area is part of a World Heritage Site, so the building plot allowed was narrow and carefully controlled. Designing and constructing a home here was a unique engineering challenge for Samantha Cafado.
This area is a protected Atlantic rainforest, so there are heavy restrictions to build here. We didn't have to cut trees. The plot has already a clearing of the vegetation.
These restrictions forced Samantha to be creative in her design approach.
The design concept was to connect the architecture to the nature. At the same time, we tried to gently insert the house into the mountain. The climate is a very important aspect for the design because you needed to deal with the humidity, and also the mountainside was a great challenge.
The house was designed as 3 boxes sitting on top of each other to anchor it up the mountainside. It sits on a rocky outcrop on one side and is supported by 2 pillars at the front. The entrance is a discreet staircase that disappears into a poured concrete ceiling. It looks like the doorway to an alien spaceship.
It's kind of mysterious element. You don't know what you find upstairs. This is the first place when you arrive into the house. This is a cozy area for the family to relax together. At this level, we are at the same level as the trees. I especially like this window that frames the vegetation.
The other rooms on this floor were designed to be surrounded by the rainforest to make them secluded. The master bedroom suite and 5 additional bedrooms sit on this level. Each bedroom has its own enclosed private space.
Each of the rooms has a bathroom and a balcony. These folding panels filters the light. They offer privacy and ventilation also.
To take advantage of the landscape and the views, the main living area has been created at tree level on the home's uppermost floor.
This is the top floor, and here we have all the living and leisure spaces.
In this vast space which opens onto the rainforest, there is a living room and dining area. One side of the room conceals a clever secret space, an invisible kitchen,
The clients asked us to create a kitchen that could be open to the living room or closed. So that's why we designed these sliding folding doors.
This floor also has a sauna and jacuzzi.
What I like the most of this house is the deep connection between the architecture and the nature.
The glass doors on the upper level open up completely, so the living room becomes part of the rainforest outside.
Here in this deck, we are so close to nature that you can almost touch the trees. That's why it's called the jungle house, because you're really in the middle of the jungle. This is the pool. It's one of the best features of the house. In order to see the view, we wanted to put the pool on the rooftop. So it was a big engineering challenge also, because to get the depth we need, we raised the flooring around it.
Engineers had to double the thickness of the supporting floor to give enough depth to the pool and add stability. With the concrete installed, engineers raised the pool's surrounding high above the deck. This added extra depth and brought the water level in line with the sea. The ultimate effect, a one-of-a-kind rainforest infinity pool. The jungle house conceals one more surprise.
There is a secret space on the rooftop.
Climb a tiny ladder and it reveals a majestic view that stretches down through the rainforest to the Atlantic Ocean. This green roof is not only beautiful, but also insulates the house and protects it from the heat of summer. It's just one more innovative feature that integrates this magnificent home into the jungle.
I feel very happy with the result of the design. Actually, it's much better than I imagined from the beginning.
The design works perfectly, especially when the sun goes down.
I think it's more blended into the nature than I imagined. I definitely wanted to live here.
This secret house was created to form a relationship between nature and design. And it looks perfectly at home in the mountaintop rainforest. (9,400 kilometers northeast is the Isle of Wight. Separated from mainland England by a stretch of water called the Solent, this diamond-shaped island has 90 kilometers of secluded coves and pristine sandy beaches. The small village of Gurnard sits on the northeast coast of the island. Secluded within the natural habitat here, with no other beachside neighbours, is a spectacular, yet secret home. Hidden amongst the trees here sits a house at one with nature. The building was designed to blend seamlessly with the lush environment around it. This is the hidden island house. The owner of this remarkable waterfront property is New Zealand-born sailmaker John Welsh.
Around 2005, 2006, we started looking for a property in the UK. My wife was actually from the island originally, and we were living in the States at the time. I was desperate to live on the water, you know, and one of the reasons to come back to the island was to try and get a waterfront property.
The house sits on a 45-degree slope and has been sandwiched to fill the entire width of the plot. It has a steel frame combined with glass and concrete that covers 805 square metres over 2 floors. On the top level is the living space, dining area, kitchen and terrace, all designed to maximise the spectacular views. Downstairs there are 4 bedrooms, 1 with ensuite and a family bathroom. All this sits on top of a 4-metre teardropped concrete tube base with a door leading onto the coastal garden. John not only wanted the property to be near the water where he worked, but also offer total seclusion.
When you come down a long drive between 2 fences, and at the end of that you kind of see 1 window in the house. You can actually get a slight glimpse of the ocean because you can see right through the glass both sides, but it's only a small hint. Once you get down it opens up and you find our house hidden away in the woods. It's black, a high gloss black, and equally once you get a bit further back the glass also becomes black, so it really disappears into the woods as a black box, which is the way it was designed to be.
John's garden has indigenous trees to camouflage the house and tie the site to his New Zealand heritage.
I'm a Kiwi, so there's a lot of ferns, and it feels a little bit like a tropical haven.
From deep within the foliage, a wooden pathway opens up, leading to a narrow footbridge, which links to the ground floor.
As you walk into the house, you'll see that we have a spiral staircase here, which is a feature, and then obviously it's a little bit of an entrance hall with some nice artwork.
Each of the 4 bedrooms on this level have a corner view with partial glass walls to give the sense of floating in the treetops.
Off the master bedroom here we have an ensuite, which is the bath in front of the window, which is fantastic. You can sit here in the winter and look out at the view. I'm sure, you know, if they really wanted to, they could probably see us from the water, but it would be difficult, and we are very private on the front here.
It's up the spiral staircase where the staggering views really take your breath away.
I really enjoy walking up the stairs here and you look out and the expansive view opens up. Until you actually get up here, you're not really aware of what you're going to see, and we're much closer to the water than you'd imagine, so we have a fantastic view. To me, this epitomises the house, really. We're in the sun, we're next to the ocean, we can watch the boats go by. It's all what I wanted, and we enjoy it every day, and it's never the same.
John wanted the picturesque outlook to be the main feature of the house. So the front of the house is fully glazed and faces out onto the sea. But there's a special place which John keeps hidden from sight.
Upstairs here is pretty much totally open plan, but we have one little secret room tucked away in the corner that we sneak into if we want to watch TV. So this is our little snug room. It's a lovely little room, and the family love it, and you wouldn't know it was here, and it's a nice place just to sit and relax.
This house has many surprising elements.
All modern architecture, the devil's in the detail, and what looks like a very simple black box, which in many ways it is, it's the detailing that goes with that that makes it nice inside. And so you end up with full height doors, you end up with the window frames sunk into the construction, just lots of little simple details like that create a very crisp image. Just difficult to create and actually difficult to build as well, because it requires a very high specification of finish.
To realise his dream of building on the water, John worked with fellow sailor and architect Jonathan Manser.
It was one of those occasions where the client and the architect want exactly the same thing, a modern house that made the best of the view.
But it was a difficult site to build on because the ground here is always moving. So Jonathan had to do something quite extreme.
The reason this slope is more difficult to build on than just being a slope is because there's a sort of mixture of clay and gravel and big lumps of rock. So the whole thing is on the move all the way along this coastline here, which is why in the planning guidance, this particular site, it's assumed that you can't do any building work at all. You know, no building here. And so we had to come up with a solution which a lot of people who looked at the site were too frightened to contemplate. So what we've done is create this concrete tear-shaped cylinder under the middle of the house, and that's not going to move.
It took innovative engineering and detailed geological surveys to ensure that this family home had a solid footing on the unstable soil here. Geological reports determined the foundations needed to be sunk 26 metres underground to find a solid point of anchor. Engineers inserted 10 concrete piles into the ground to create a solid base. Each pile was just over 30 centimetres wide. And they then poured more concrete to form a pile cap to hold it all together. Finally, they laid ties in the soil to connect the foundations of the house to a stable part of the hillside. With the foundation secured, they built the two-storey home on top of the concrete piles and anchored it with steel rods.
When I look back, I guess we're arguably a little naive because we got a price on the piling. It was obviously more than we anticipated, but at the same time, I didn't really think through the risk. I think if you thought through the risk properly, you may not have done it.
I think looking at it now, all that process, it's actually really been worthwhile, and I just think it's quite an achievement. Quite pleased with it, really.
Jonathan's team transformed the concrete tube at the base of the house into a remarkable secret room.
What we have done is use the resulting structural solution with this concrete tube, and we've put stuff into the concrete tube rather than just leaving it empty. We've got a utility room and shower room and storage and so on. And then coming out onto this terrace so that you can walk out and down the stairs and down to the beach.
A beach that's so remote, it's virtually private. John's gamble of building on this challenging site has paid off.
When I look back at a house like this, it's a bit of a structural triumph, I think. It's fun to look at it, and you keep on thinking, wow, there's a lot of house sitting on a very small base, and it's pretty impressive engineering. Yeah, my heart is in sailing and passion. My passion is really sailing, and I'm also a sailmaker by trade, so it's always fun. You see your clients going by, you know who's out sailing, you know who's training, you know what's going on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, there's something a bit special about living next to water, being able to hear the waves at night, hear the boats going by. I just feel quite at home next to the ocean.
John's house is a triumph of design and engineering, and a home where he can work, rest and sail to his heart's content.